what caught my attention was the magnitude of the story, the complexity of it. And you know, you had to keep, it was like reading a really good book and you couldn't put it down until you found out, aha, so this is the reason it's called deception, aha. And I wanted to be part of it because I guess I've always wanted to be an actress all my life. You know, being the youngest of 7 children in a big Irish Catholic family, you always had to put on acts anyway, so I really wasn't acting. I thought it was a good story and I wanted to be part of it. My character's a very strong woman. She's a single woman that all of a sudden had to become a parent and a mother, most especially to 2 little girls, because tragically their parents died. And she was used to having things her own way, and she had to change and realize she had to open her heart to 2 little girls. But she was still very strong, and no one was going to mess with her little girls. I liked her attitude. She was a strong woman, and she didn't take guff from anyone, a lot like me. And she was a very loving person, and in those days she was a very independent woman, which was quite unheard of, but she managed to carry it off. Oh yes, my brother always called me the lioness, and no one messed with my cups. I could deal with them, but don't anybody else. And I think that comes out in the movie, that I was very protective of my own, and no one was going to mess with them, or they would have to answer to me. It was fun until one time, I don't want to give away the movie, but I got upset with him, and I was tired, and I was like, okay, he's messing with one of mine now, and I pushed him so hard that he went across the room. But he was quite a good actor, he really was, and it was fun playing with him. She knew what she wanted, and she did it. She never hardly ever flipped her lines, unlike me, because since she wrote it, she knew what to expect. And remembered, and it was great because we could ad-lib. I think there were some scenes where I didn't say the same thing twice, but I had quite a few, but if I had to say one, there was one where 2 of the gentlemen in the movie had a fist fight. And of course, in 1850 in Georgia, this was unheard of in the presence of ladies. Mm-hmm. That was something for a tavern. And when I heard the screaming and the hollering, I had to come out and put my 2 cents in. And there was a lot of me in that. Raising 2 sons, I had been through that, and I just put my jaw out and was like, I want to know what is going on, and it will stop now. It was my favorite part. I knew they were going to be there, but I'm probably the oldest person in the movie, so I hope it doesn't show, but it was fun. It really was, after all was said and done. And I have a new respect for professional actors and actresses right now. I see where they get the big bucks. It was amazing. We could be dead on our feet. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning. It could be 2 o'clock. We could be sitting straight up in our costumes and our makeup, and when we were called Johnny on the spot, we were there to do our job and hoped that it was going to be short and only a few takes. It was amazing. Felix, and the poor man, one arm must have been longer than the other when he finished, and Vivian with the makeup, and Edward, everyone, and the rest of the staff. It was, the cast, I should say. It was amazing, and it was an amazing place where we filmed it. It was really, we all meshed, and I think we really became friends afterwards, lifelong friends. Well, first off, of course, I'd have to change this New York accent and start talking like that. And that was probably the hardest thing for me to talk for so long like that. But I think there was a lot of Mary Jane in Mary, being a mother, and that's what her main role was. She was a mother, and she was protective of all she loved, and she was a strong woman. But I also had to remember that it was 1850 and not 2006 or 2007, and realize that I had to act differently with the fan and the looks and everything like that. We played a couple of tricks on a few people. Jennifer, especially, that was a good part of that, and on James. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. I'm sure it was quite funny. People would be walking around with other people's wigs on. It was great. It really was. Oh, please. If you saw, it's probably, my first scene is probably on the cutting room floor, please God. I thought it was horrible. Just knowing that people were looking at me and there was a camera going in. But I think I got over it pretty quickly, especially by the second time we went down. I was a little scared about seeing that. I've never seen, home movies and stuff like that, but nothing to the magnitude of this. And I'll probably be a nervous wreck the whole time, biting my lip and covering every time I come on the screen, putting my head in my hands and stuff. Because it's like a little girl playing dress up, I guess is the way, but you look in the mirror, but it's not the same as being in a movie. Being away from my husband was probably the hardest, but there was one scene in particular. I had to run down the stairs in the middle of the night. I was 58 years old at the time, and I'm cheating, but I wear bifocals. And it was about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and it had been a long day, and it was a hot day, and the costume was heavy, and I had to keep running up and down and up. I thought it was going to fall, run into the wall. That was probably the hardest thing I had to do in the whole movie. It wasn't a funny scene, but to me it was funny. There's a scene where Elizabeth and Sarah and I are all sitting in the bedroom talking. And what was pretty funny is I raised my voice and Violix jumped, and so did Vivian. And I thought that was pretty funny. I think we had to do that a few times. I think even Jamie, the cinematographer, couldn't stop laughing after that one. But I wasn't really in any funny scenes. Oh, except running. That was cute, especially when I ran up the front of my dress. That was really cute. Thank God I didn't fall in any mud or anything. I think I scared the poor firemen that had the fire hoses going. I don't think they were ready to see an old lady in a white nightgown getting wet. It was probably turned their stomach. They probably lost about 50 pounds. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, the first shot of water was like, oh, Lord, help me. But after that, it was pretty funny, too, especially in the take where Violix is pounding the grave and there's mud and the schmutz is going all over. We were trying not to laugh and she turned around. But I liked that scene, actually, because it was so hot. It was actually refreshing. As you can see, I have gray hair. In the movie, I have dark brown, almost black hair. So it was cute. I would get in, they'd have to slick my hair back with gunk. And then it was like a mascara thing, they had to touch my roots. Now, most people, when they have the roots touched, it's lighter. Mine were darker, number one. And then the wig. The wig probably weighed tops 1.5 pounds, but in the Georgia sun, it felt about 50 pounds. And after a while, it was starting to get a little weird. So I called it El Gato, which of course in Spanish is the cat. I'm looking at that instead of this.
That's fine.
The cat. And so I called it El Gato. And then by the end of the movie it was the dead cat. Muerto Gato. But I was jealous of people that had their own hair.